Hey everyone! So let's talk about the United Nations and why they're bracing themselves for a potential second term of Donald Trump as President of the United States. First off, there's a sense of déjà vu and some serious trepidation at the UN. A senior Asian diplomat even mentioned that there's some hope that a transactional administration might still engage with the UN on certain areas, despite defunding others. They believe, after all, that there's no bigger or better global stage than the United Nations. Now here's where it gets really critical. The US is the U.N. quote,'s largest contributor, covering 22% of the core budget and 27% of the peacekeeping budget. If Trump decides to cut back on these contributions again, it could mean big trouble for the UN. Remember, during his first term, Trump proposed a huge cut to US diplomacy and aid budgets, which included significant reductions in funding for UN peacekeeping and international organizations. Congress pushed back on these proposals, but the threat of those cuts still looms large. The UN has been doing some behind-the-scenes planning to manage potential US budget cuts if Trump returns to power. Richard Gowan from the International Crisis Group mentioned that UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and his team are not completely unprepared, but the next year is expected to be extremely challenging. So what happens if the US retreats? Well, it could open the door for China to increase its influence in global diplomacy. A senior European diplomat even said a Trump win would be great news for China. During Trump's first term, Chinese influence at the UN increased significantly because, as the diplomat put it, it was an open bar for the Chinese. Trump's supporters argue that his peace through strength approach will help him bend foreign leaders to his will and solve major issues like the war in Ukraine. He is also expected to give strong support to Israel in its conflicts with Hamas and Hezbollah. But here's the kicker. Trump has offered few specifics about his foreign policy in a second term, raising concerns about a repeat of his first term's actions, such as withdrawing from the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Agreement. If Trump pulls the US out of the climate deal again, UN Secretary-General Guterres warned that while the agreement will survive, it will likely be severely undermined. A senior African diplomat summed up the impending return of Trump for multilateralism and the UN with a simple phrase, "The heavens help us." So what do you think? Will Trump's return to power spell disaster for the UN, or could it lead to unexpected opportunities for global cooperation? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.